Hello and welcome back to another episode of Folly Factor. I'm your host, Andrew Roush, joined by my other host, Jacob Timler. We also have two very special guests today, the fallacious fellows, Isaac Yourdon and Noah Doom. Isaac and Noah, go ahead and introduce yourselves for the people at home.
Hello, everyone. My name is Noah Doom, a professor of folly at Oklahoma Baptist University. They say one of the best in the nation. I don't know. But today I'll be talking about the folly of music and the music industry concerning Christians. Quite the subject.
Hmm.
Hello, I am Isaac Yourdon. I am from Carolina, and I am the professor of folly at Carolina.
Got a lot of professors today, and as Andrew introduced me, I'm Jacob Timler, otherwise known as Mr. Folly himself, recording from Las Vegas as always. Well, let's get into it. We'll start with you, Noah. So, a professor of folly, that's quite the interesting position. I have known some people in the past to major in that, but not very well. So, can you tell us a little bit more about what that looks like? What's your program looking like?
Yeah, so the program of folly, it's a very difficult one to major in. It has some strenuous requirements. Um, a lot of them can't be mentioned here. They're not exactly like public knowledge, you know what I mean? So
Wow.
it's but it's very difficult to get in. Only 0.5% of applicants are accepted to my program. Um, but if you look at it, actually, a lot of people major in folly by the way they live their lives without knowing it. So I could actually give lots of folly degrees. But anyway, today we're going to be talking about the music industry and the folly seen in there. Oh,
Wow.
it's
I mean,
quite
I know I would never be someone who could get like a folly degree. That's not really how I
yeah,
live my life. Try to live very
yeah.
wise,
Mhm.
very by the book. I dressed up for this interview. I just that folly thing is really below me. So Timler here, Folly himself's trying to convince me otherwise, but right now
Okay.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
But no,
Well,
as Andrew said, he's absolutely wrong. He doesn't understand how much folly just surrounds us and everything. It's
Mm-mm.
yes, Professor Doom, I agree. The music industry is full of folly. How we listen to it, how we listen to it to our cars. Like, you know how many accidents are caused by that every year? I mean, honestly, from my point of view, it's a beautiful thing to see. But yes, a lot of folly involved in the
yes.
industry.
Mr. Roush, you said you lived your life by the book. Well, the greatest book of all time is the Bible. We
Of
can see
course.
where music comes from. Genesis 4:19. Previously, we see Cain, right? He separates himself from the presence of God after he kills his brother, and now his descendants are also separated from the presence of God, and they're making music. Let's just read the Bible and see what it has to say about
Oh
music.
man.
And Lamech took two wives. The name of one was Ada, and the name of the other Zillah. Skipping down a bit. His brother's name was Jubal. He was the father of all those who play the lyre and the pipe. We can take the lyre to mean like all stringed instruments, and the pipe to mean all wind instruments. Therefore, this music actually comes from people who are separated from the presence of God, which means it's actually evil in nature. Because you need
Wait,
to.
I thought that since I only listened to classical music, that I was safe from all the folly. But you're saying that according to the Bible, classical music might be even more susceptible to being
Yes,
absolutely.
it's the
Oh
highest form of folly,
man,
actually.
I didn't
Huh.
realize that at all. This is devastating. But I am still a wise man. Even because of that, the Bible's an old book. I'm not sure I'm convinced quite yet.
Well,
Well,
that's
I
true.
appreciate the folly in that position there, Andrew, and that's great to hear coming from you. Even as you say you're a wise man, just throwing the Bible out the window, throwing tradition. That's some great folly right
Uh,
there. But I'd like to
uh,
point out some of those names involved in that passage you just read, Professor Doom. Like you say, one
hmm.
of them was Zilla. Like that makes me think Godzilla, one of the most
Villa.
folly film franchises of all time. 30 movies in Japan,
Hmm.
and no one can quote a line from one of them. So wow, great stuff
I can. Ah!
there. Well, forgive me. We got one line. But beyond that, yeah, pretty sunk there. So, starting in Genesis, we see folly is just pervading the scene in the scripture, something that 3 billion members of the world's population hold as their highest truth. So, wow, aren't we just so grounded in folly as a human race, as a human species? Well, Professor Doom,
True.
take us further in this journey.
Well, we can go to another passage in the Bible. Let me flip to it real quick. I believe it's Ezekiel. Here we go. Ezekiel 28:13. This is a passage talking about Lucifer himself. And let me just read it for you. You were in Eden, the garden of God. Every precious stone was your covering. The sardius, topaz, and diamond, beryl, onyx, and jasper, sapphire, turquoise, and emerald with gold. The workmanship of your timbrels and pipes was prepared for you on the day you were created. There, once again, we see timbrels and pipes, symbols of music. And that's coming from Satan himself. So we can see from the Bible that Satan was actually the origin of all music, and that folly is ingrained once again. Even
That's beautiful.
yeah.
I'm not convinced. Yourdon, Dr. Yourdon, I see sitting there. I know you're a doctor of folly, but surely you don't hold it in such high regard as others do. I mean, look at you. You're sitting in a house with a nice, suitable background, unlike Dr. Doom here, who's clearly recording on his phone, not even having any regard for our time and for the privilege it is to be on the Folly Factor right now. So, yeah, Dr. Yourdon, I'd love to hear your thoughts because surely they're much more decent and respectful.
Oh no, I actually hold Folly in quite high regard. As you can see, I'm wearing a mere sweatshirt. I think that as we dress lower, it actually holds us in a higher regard for folly, which is the highest form of the human existence.
So it looks like Dr. Yourdon actually worships folly as some sort of bizarre ideal in his life. That is beyond fascinating.
This portion of the show is sponsored by Soma. Does life give you struggles you feel that you can't overcome? Are you in this deep pit that no rope can be long enough to pull you out? There's a solution just fit for you. Just take one pill of Soma twice a day, and it will soothe your spirits and make you live a calmer, better life. The negative side effects may include nothing. No need to consult your doctor today to take Soma. Live the life that you deserve.
I mean, this is crazy to me. I spend my whole life making sure I'm very, very careful to know that everyone around me sees me as a wise man, not as a man who's muddled in with all that folly business. Like when I give speeches, I plan out all the jokes I'm gonna say. I make sure to elevate myself before I get to my point so people know that I really know what I'm talking about. I'll give exordiums that even though they don't have anything to do with like the topic at hand, they're really intelligent and people respect me for it. You can't call that folly.
Well, yes, those could be seen as high regard in this world, but what you have to realize is in Lamentations, it talks about how everything is vanity. And because of this,
Wait,
any
Lamentations?
wait, what is it? What was the book we read last year?
Yes.
Ecclesiastes is what I said, I promise.
Yeah.
In Ecclesiastes, it talks about how everything is vanity.
This is what folly teaches in school.
And because everything is vanity, there's no point in trying to make everybody think you're very righteous. So why put all this work into spending all this time trying to make yourself seem righteous when it's way easier and more fun to just live folly?
Huh. Interesting.
I mean, I'm just going to kind of build off what Dr. Yourdon said there. Isn't life ultimately all about fun? If it's not bringing you happiness, if it's not bringing you fun, what is it? Does it mean anything? And I would go further and say that only folly is fun. Yes. And see, this is what
I teach at the University of Central Carolina, is that we should always strive for fun and folly, because in Ecclesiastes, it talks about the vanity. And with everything being fleeting, there's no point in trying to work on your self-image.
Exactly. And even Mr. Roush, with your speeches and carefully prepared exordiums, I would venture to say, based off my experience teaching folly, that the parts that people listening pay the most attention to are the parts most filled with folly, such as in your funny jokes or silly exordiums.
You have to be kidding me. You can't really say that that's folly.
Folly is everything. even wisdom sometimes.
What?
Yeah.
Huh. This Folly thing, maybe it actually sounds not too bad. But no. I'm not yet convinced.
Well, you see, as the dictionary says, folly is defined as lack of good sense or foolishness. And one could make an argument that all jokes and funny stories are just amplifying that. They're just jokes and foolishness.
Well, what about
And
the most
because of-
real thing that I've ever experienced? The love of my dear wife, Mary Sue.
Look, Mr. Roush, I mean, no
Whoa.
offense meant, but
You can't
anyone that
interrupt.
would love you, is definitely full of a lot of folly, man.
But I crafted my image so meticulously. You can't seriously say that.
But in the crafting of your image, are you not in some way lying to her, making her believe a false image of who you truly are? In that, would that not also be folly?
Maybe so.
I mean, look, I got nothing against ego crafting. All of that is right up my alley. So I'm not going to criticize Mr. Roush for that. I just like him to admit it when he's really delving into folly, even when he believes he's not.
So you're telling me that I can fully embrace Folly and everything she stands for, or you stand for, rather, since you are Folly himself. And I don't even have to change my life. I could keep living the same way.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, there's something to the point that if you don't admit it, that's some level of folly too, because you're living in this blind existence. You know, we could really go in circles, which are my favorite shape anyways. So however you want to take it.
Logically speaking, I see no way around it. It is clear to me. Folly is the only way. There's nothing that I can do apart from folly, and folly is the source of all things.
It's always great to see another convert.
You know, I don't need to keep living for the image. I don't even need to keep pretending I'm something I'm not. I'm nothing but a foolish man with a foolish show. I mean, I literally wrote it into the name of the podcast. How did I not see this coming? You know, thank you, doctors. Thank you, Folly. You've really opened my eyes. I can live free.
Not that free. Let's keep that shirt on there, Mr.
I don't
Roush.
even need to worry about my image. I don't need to worry about the way people see me. I don't need this silly background effect. Look at this. I'm sitting on my couch in my basement right now. I was just trying to make you all think I'm better than you. But in reality, I don't need any of it.
Well, that has been wonderful to, oh my goodness, see a man free himself from the constraints of wisdom.
What was that, Timler?
Oh, I was just saying that is beautiful to see a man free himself from the constraints
Should I continue
of
to
wisdom.
More clothes.
But it is time for our first sponsorship break. So we will all just take a pause as we hear from our sponsors.
If you suffer from moderate to severe pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis, and pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis prevents you from enjoying life, then Silivex may be right for you. Silivex actively targets the particles causing pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis and lines your lung in a special protective layer to prevent future pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis. Consult a doctor today to see if Silivex is the right treatment for your pneumono ultramicroscopic silicovolcanic coniosis. Side effects may include migraines, chronic wasting disease, suffocation, cancer, strokes, seizures, asthma, vomiting, paralysis, heart attacks, chronic aching, soreness, diarrhea, death, and eternal damnation.
Hello and welcome back to the Folly Factor. We hope you enjoyed that message from our sponsors as much as we did. In fact, Andrew enjoyed it so much he decided to come down with a case of pneumono ultramicroscopic silicoconiosis just so he could try the medication. We are now accepting call-ins. Remember, you can always call us at 1-800-455-6372. Hello, you're on Folly Factor.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, you
I think so. Yes. Okay. Just making sure. So, I have this really big problem that I just wanted to get through, and I need some help. So, I hope you can help me.
Yeah. Would you mind introducing yourself first, though? What's your name and where are you from?
My name is Kade Spielberg, and I'm from Kansas City, Kentucky. Um, and you know, recently I've been struggling in this relationship. It's with this girl. I really just kind of rather despise her personality. But and I kind of want to break up with her. But she's really rich, and she is really attractive. Like, really. So, like, but her personality is just abysmal. What do I do?
Well, that is quite the issue you brought to our attention today. I forgot to introduce my co-host, Micah Kelly. Micah, you want to say a word about yourself before we get to addressing Kate's problem?
Of course. Well, thank you for having me on the show. Of course, my name is Dr. Micah Kelly. I, in fact, do have a doctorate in recreation. So, for all of your recreational purposes, I can help you there. So, yes, it's a pleasure being on the show. Thank you very much for inviting me.
All right. Well, to tackle Cade's question, he has a girlfriend who is very attractive and rich, but has a terrible personality. Did we get all the facts right there, Mr. Spielberg?
You did right on.
You did all right. Well, first of all, what kind of personality are we talking about? Because that's a very big. There are lots of like bad personalities, but we really need to find out in order to really dive into this situation.
We're talking about snobbish. Really doesn't care for me really that much. Like, she's kind of just dishonest. Bitter, some could say.
If she doesn't care about you, why does she continue to pursue this relationship? Maybe she's just as eager to break it off as you are.
I don't know. I mean, I have a little wealth myself. And she's a bit stingy as well with her money.
I mean, speaking from my wealth of experience, I'm just saying there are more important things in life than happiness and agreement with the personality of your girlfriend or wife. So I think if you're looking at the pluses of quite a significant amount of income with the added ability that she's also attractive, I'd say keep this one up. And once you own a big mansion, you can just like cloister her off in the other wing. You stay in the east wing, she's in the west wing, and life's as good as it gets, man.
I mean, exactly. You could not have said it better. I really think that in today's modern age, love is just something that we don't really need anymore. It's like it's a way of the past. It's something of Shakespearean language. It's something that we don't really need anymore, but something that we do need very clearly every day is money, because taxes are, just a lot in general. So I do think sticking with the girlfriend for the money would be the best.
Yeah, I'm glad to see we're both in agreement here. And clearly, Cade, the fact that you even had any sort of disagreement within yourself. You had a question. You came onto the show, shows that you were curious and open to learn, but I hope two experts on all things love, seeing as love falls right under the umbrella of folly, have given you our opinions on this matter. Hopefully you can see the truth and keep it up.
Say love is related to folly, but so I don't embrace the folly. I run away from it.
Wait, really?
I mean, pursuing this relationship is a certain measure of folly. I mean, on the one hand, hating the person you're sharing your life with is not necessarily wise per se, but who cares? She's rich and hot, so.
It's true. It's very true. So yeah. So you would still stick with embrace
Your audio cut out there, but
Sorry.
being somewhat of a lip reader, I think you said stick with that person. So yeah, that's what we're saying. Do you have any other questions on any other relationships you're pursuing alongside this one? Maybe he's Mormon.
I am polyamorous, so I stick to one woman personally.
You say you're polyamorous and you stick to one woman? I think you mean monoamorous or poly means many. So maybe he sticks to one at a time,
yeah,
but has many in the harem.
I spiritually polyamorous, but like physically monoamorous.
Yeah, I'd say that leans a bit to folly as well. I mean,
yeah,
you just stick
want to
with
embrace
it,
the folly.
go with it, Like don't be on this like split road. Just go with one,
Okay, and get all the money. Yeah, so go for really money and fame over true intimate affection.
Because with money and fame, money gets you more famous, right? Because you can buy bigger and better things. And with more fame, that means you can start a cryptocurrency and you can make even more money, right? It's this infinite loop that happens. And
what did you say you had a doctorate in?
Recreation. Yeah, so I know all about this stuff because I mean, crypto is one of my recreational activities that I partake in. But the more you're able to do this, and again, you can also use this tons of money that you now have that you are absolutely making bank by being this one lady's boyfriend. You can then go into the things that you love, right? You can go into the things that give you joy. And then once you do that, then you don't have to worry anymore, right? Because it's folly to worry.
Honestly, Mr. Spielberg, you might as well just collect the money while you can and then have as many other relationships outside of that as you want to and just keep her in that West Wing in the mansion and life is yours for the taking.
This really opened my eyes to the ideals of folly. So I thank you both, gentlemen, for this advice.
I'm glad we were.
Thank you. Yeah, thanks for coming on the show. And this does conclude our episode of The Folly Factor. We hope you join us next week. And thanks again for watching.